It's Sunday, August 14th, 2022. A lot to talk about today. I printed out a few articles I want to share with all of you. Feel free to comment down below on any of this. Please make sure before we start this video to give this video a thumbs up, share this video, and make sure you subscribe. But I want to start with this article on the Wall Street Journal, and it's titled, "Consumers are still spending money on fun." I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Are consumers still spending money on fun? Hotels, Vegas, theme parks, things like that. I can tell you the last couple times I've been out to dinner, the restaurants have been dead. I haven't been to a theme park for many, many years, so I have no idea. Last time I was in Vegas a couple months ago, it was busy. But I've heard reports that it's not as busy now. So I don't know. Comment down below. But that's what the Wall Street Journal says. Consumers are still spending money on fun. And if they are, how are they doing it? You know the answer to that: credit cards. Now, Fox Business has an article that came out last night, and it's titled, "Six Flags CEO Says Parks Turned Into Cheap Daycare for Teenagers." So they've raised prices a bit, and their second quarter attendance is down 22% because of that rise in price. So now they're going to advertise in nicer neighborhoods. They want people in nicer, wealthier neighborhoods to come to Six Flags. They don't want poor people to come to Six Flags. They want nice neighborhoods, people in nice neighborhoods to come to their park, said Salim Basul, CEO of Six Flags. What do you think about that? And I don't know what it costs to get into Six Flags now. If you do, comment down below. I think Walt Disney, if you want to go to Disneyland, is well over $100 now. I don't know who has the discretionary money to just spend on theme parks now or baseball games, but most of these people, as you know and I know, if they're doing this, they're doing it with a credit card, making their situation much worse. Now, as we head over to the hedge, there's an article titled, "Where Americans Plan to Cut Back in Face of Inflation." Now, this is very interesting. So one source will tell us people are still spending money, and another says, hey, they're cutting back. According to this article, 66% said they're cutting contracts and subscriptions. A lot of people that I know cutting out their cable TV. 42% says they're cutting down on their clothes spending. 39% said they'll be cutting back on bar and restaurants. 38% are cutting back on traveling and vacation. 35% cutting back on food and household goods. 30% cutting back on entertainment. 30% also cutting back on housing and energy costs. Now, these are very big cutbacks. And this is going to have a huge impact, a very negative impact on the economy, because if people aren't buying clothes, it's going to be bad for retail. If they're not traveling, they're not vacationing, that's terrible for the tourist industry, the tourism type areas like my area right here, the Palm Springs area. This is a tourist type area, and this is very, very bad for business because then people aren't going to the restaurants, and people are cutting out. It says here, 39% cutting out bars and restaurants. So this is a huge indicator where this economy is going. People are cutting things out. And like I said, the last few times I've been out to eat, restaurants have been dead. Here's another article. "Surging inflation causes food insecurity for working families as food banks struggle to meet demand." Eric Cooper, CEO of San Antonio Food Bank, he shared in this interview on Fox Business that he is witnessing American families in need of food. That's another big problem here that we don't hear a lot about on the television, that nobody's talking about. We just keep hearing that, you know, the theme parks are busy, Las Vegas is busy, the hotels are busy, but we don't hear about all the people now waiting in line for food. Feeding South Dakota, another food charity, the only statewide food bank service in South Dakota, feeds 900,000 people in the state in over 66 counties. It says here they've seen a 20% increase in families for the statewide service. Think about that, double digits, 20% increase. And let's be clear, these are not homeless people. These are not people who've been on the streets. These are families, working class families now, who are struggling. And this means that these same families, if they don't have friends, family, or a church to fall back on, could be in a very, very bad situation very, very quickly. One flat tire away, one little accident away, one visit to urgent care away, and you're completely broke. The credit cards get tapped out. These people are in big trouble. Placer Food Bank in Roseville, California said it's not just homeless people, it's working families. They said, now this is Placer Food Bank in Roseville, California. They said from 2019 to 2020, they distributed 324,000 pounds of food. In 2021 to 2022, they distributed 1.4 million pounds of food. That's incredible to even think what's going on. Now, what's even more incredible is we continue to send more money all over the globe, all over the world, to take care of other people instead of the people right here who really need it. If America cannot take care of itself, how in the world does it plan on taking care of the rest of the world? Another article, American workforce continues to shrink, falls 400,000 since March after nearly hitting pre-crisis levels. So again, there's a conflict here. Are we gaining jobs? Are we losing jobs? Is unemployment really 3.5%? You know it really isn't. Last week, what was the jobless claims number? I believe it was 266,000 people filed first-time jobless claims last week. We have a job crisis taking place in America. People are losing their jobs, and this is going to fuel the fire with this housing crash. And I want to just mention briefly, 2/3 of the U.S. economy depends on small business. And now we know what's going to be happening. They are going to be targets of the IRS. And we have to realize if we do not have small business in America, we have no economy. Again, 2/3 of jobs depend on small business. This economy depends on small business. So if you're a small business owner, comment down below. What are you seeing right now? How do you feel? What do you feel right now, knowing that you're going to be a target by the IRS, that they're going to be coming after you? And what happens when we lose? I mean, we've lost well over 200,000 small businesses because of the health crisis, and we're going to continue to lose more small business because of this falling and failing economy. Yet they're going to tell you there's no recession, there's no unemployment, there's no inflation, there's no problems. People really need to wake up and see the danger that is out there as far as what's happening to this economy, because if they continue to ignore the warning signs and ignore the danger, ignoring this locomotive that's coming right at them, and they don't get off the tracks, they are going to get plowed right over. I want to talk a little bit about the housing market, and this is going to be a real hot topic, and it's going to become a hotter topic as the months go on, because I truly believe it's going to be the housing market that crashes the entire economy, what's left of the economy. But it's going to crash Wall Street. It's going to crash the stock market. It is going to be the housing market, because if you have an economy that is dependent on small business, where 2/3 of jobs depend on small business in this economy, and people continue to file jobless claims week after week after week, how are people going to pay their bills, and how are they going to pay their mortgage payments? We've been told that there's a shortage of inventory. We've been told that it's different this time. We've been told that people have better credit now. People have much more equity in their homes. The banks made better loans now. People are making more money now. All this is a fallacy. This is all artificial. The equity in these homes is completely juiced. It's artificial. And people don't realize how quickly that equity in their homes that makes them feel rich, makes them feel wealthy, how quickly it is going to disappear. These jobs, we have this hot job market, but now everybody's getting laid off. So the job market isn't that hot. What's hot is service sector jobs, where you can make, $10, $12, $15 an hour, depending on the state you live in. But overall, real jobs, it's not a hot market. It is not a hot market, and this is going to be the problem. It's not going to be because people have better credit this time or they have more equity in their homes. It's different this time. No, people are getting laid off. The inflation is eating their wages and their savings alive. And when you don't have a job, you're not going to last very long, and you're not going to be able to stay in that house very long either. So we have a very sick economy. We have raging inflation. We have mortgage rates skyrocketing. We have a 50 to 75 basis point rate hike coming in September. All of this is going to be detrimental to the housing market. This market is going to look a lot different in 2023, and it is shifting right now. It is beginning to seize up right now. Home buying competition falls to lowest level in 2 years. In my area, I've seen multiple homes fall out of escrow. Agents on social media, I've seen a few agents now not posting solds, but what they're doing is they're posting homes that fell out of escrow. Escrows now are falling out, and houses going back onto the market. So they are reposting homes that were in escrow, have fallen out, they were canceled for whatever reason, maybe they could not appraise, maybe they couldn't get a loan. Whatever the situation might be. Maybe somebody lost a job and they've had to back out. Somebody commented the other day that I'm giving bad advice by saying cancel your escrow, get out of your escrow. Look, if you removed all your contingencies, you're stuck. Let me be very, very clear here. You have to remove all contingencies in a real estate contract. And until you do, you can walk. All contingencies must be removed. At that point, you're locked in. I mean, you could cancel and forfeit your deposit or your down payment. But if you have not removed contingencies, maybe you haven't solidified your loan yet, maybe the house hasn't appraised yet, you haven't done your inspections yet, whatever the case may be, if you haven't removed all contingencies, if you're not signed off, legally you can walk away and cancel escrow. So I've said before, and this is not financial advice, don't listen to me. I'm just talking out loud here. But if you were a relative of mine, a friend, a family member, and you were in an escrow and you did not remove your contingencies, I would say cancel the escrow and get out of this right now. Stay on the sidelines for the next 6 to 12 months. You're going to save a lot of money. Sellers are dropping their asking prices each week. About 8% of listings on the market have dropped in asking price, which is the highest on record according to Redfin. Phoenix had the lowest bidding war rate. Riverside County, right where I'm at right now, not far behind. Seattle, Austin, Nashville all followed. So this hot market in some of the hottest areas is seeing less competition and cooling off. Now, I want to just go over a couple stats, a little bit of data that comes from Zillow. You know, again, we hear about this real estate market is going to continue to go up because there's such small, limited amount of inventory. But we are beginning to see markets, even with low inventory, we're beginning to see prices fall. So this, you know, oh, the inventory is limited, so prices can only go up. The market can't come down because of limited inventory. Wrong, false, completely wrong. We're now seeing markets across the board with limited inventory where prices are coming down. I want to share a few cities, according to Zillow, where home prices have come down. And this is from May to July. So you have May, June, July, 3 months. We look at a city like San Jose. Prices have come down 8.6% just over the last 3 months, May, June, and July. We look at Austin, Texas, another super hot market. Prices are down 6.1%. San Diego down 4.7%. Provo, Utah down 3.7%. Denver, Colorado down 3.2%. This is just over a 3-month period. Now think about if this continues over the next 3, 6, 9 months at this rate, you're going to see huge drops in home prices. We are no doubt at the end of this housing bull market, ladies and gentlemen. It is changing, and it is going to at some point really begin to accelerate on the way down. We have recession, we have rate hike fears, rising inventory, weak buyers, and foreclosures piling up. What do you think this means for the housing market? So if you were a friend of mine or a family member and you were going to buy a house, I would say hold off. If you were in an escrow, I would say cancel the escrow and wait it out. That's not financial advice. That's advice I would give a family member or a friend in my circle. I was driving by, just to point this out really quick, I was driving by some auto lots yesterday. The used cars on those lots are piling up. So now we're beginning to see home inventory pile up. We're beginning to see used cars pile up. And this means that at some point prices are going to be coming down. Not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but we're already beginning to see it in many areas in the housing market. And we're beginning to see used car prices come down a bit too, but we're going to see all these markets flooded. We're going to see the Walmarts, the Best Buys, the Kohl's, the Targets loaded with inventory. They're going to have to dump it. We're going to see home builders loaded with inventory. We're going to see resale properties loaded, listings piling up, days on market lasting longer. The everything bubble, ladies and gentlemen, is coming to an end. And this is why I say exercise patience right now. If you're patient, I believe you're going to get a huge discount on autos, RVs. The RV lots out here are piling up. We're going to see so much inventory from big screen TVs to computers, phones, electronics, RVs, cars, homes, vacant real estate, commercial, land, you name it. It is going to be piling up, and it has begun because the everything bubble is beginning to lose air. A couple quick articles I want to close with. And again, this is just another gauge of what is happening. Boom time over. Rolex prices crash in China. The secondary market for Rolex watches in China is down 20 to 50%. It says here Rolex Submariners have crashed 46%. Now, I bring this up because I know most of us don't care what's happening in the UK or what's happening in China, but this is already happening right now in the gray market watch industry. And many of you probably could care less about luxury watches, but I bring it up because this is just another telltale sign of what's happening in the economy. The boom is over. And we saw such a trend, the FOMO, not just in housing, but the FOMO in the gray market watch industry, where people just had to have a luxury watch because there was so much artificial money floating around because of the stock market, because of crypto, NFTs, just all this money. And now it's all drying up and disappearing. And so people now aren't going out and buying, you know, $50 or $100 or $200,000 watches like they once did. And it's not just happening in China, it is happening right here. So we're watching the air come out of the bubble globally. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But it's incredible to see the bubbles in automobiles, the bubbles in watches, the bubbles in housing, the bubbles in the stock market. It's all going to be coming to an end. And what is going to bring the stock market down? I don't know, but I have a strange feeling it's going to be the housing market. The FOMO is wearing off, and now that this easy money has disappeared and is not in the market any longer, it's not chasing houses and watches and exotic cars like it once did. Pension funds suffer worst year since 2009. This on the Hedge today. The public pension Ponzi scheme is going to be even harder to sustain. And if you have a pension, you need to be very, very cautious. So many people believe that they're going to retire in 10 or 15 years and they're going to have their pension there waiting for them. Be very, very cautious, ladies and gentlemen, because your pension may not be there. It might not. Maybe they say we're going to pay you 50%, 25% of your pension, or maybe nothing at all. Public pension funds fell a median 7.9% for the year end June 30th. That's a big number. As a result, the losses will result in higher annual retirement contributions in the coming years. So you'll be paying in a lot more for your pension, and I hope it's there for you when you retire. CalPERS returned a negative 6.1% this year. So will we see a bailout in the future with the pension system. I don't know. When you're a bankrupt nation, I don't know how you can bail out a bankrupt pension Ponzi scheme system. But they made big promises to a lot of teachers, firefighters, and police, and city workers and county workers and what have you. Big promises. And now we have less and less people in the workforce. How are people going to continue to keep these pensions propped up, this Ponzi scheme, these promises that were made? I don't know. I think at some point it's going to come to a very, very ugly ending. And I think a lot of people are going to be very disappointed when they retire, because their pensions either will not exist or they're going to get a partial pension. So this is a great time to be your own pension. Make sure that you're preparing for your own retirement. And I pray to God that your pension is there waiting for you when you do retire. But if it isn't, if you are acting as your own central bank, your own pension right now, you're putting away your cash, your gold, your silver, hard tangible assets, at least you're going to have an insurance policy, something to fall back on. So maybe you get 75% of your pension, 50% of your pension. But if you've been putting away gold and silver and some cash, you're going to be able to absorb those losses a lot easier. And it's not going to be a tsunami on your life when you retire. I mean, if you have absolutely nothing but the dependence that pension's going to be there for you, you have nothing saved up for it, and they say, you get a letter and they say, hey, sorry, your pension's been dissolved, or your pension can only pay 50%. Your life is going to be shattered. It's going to be turned upside down. The system is melting down, ladies and gentlemen. They made a lot of promises, and there were a lot of Ponzi schemes, including the stock market out there. And people are going to learn a very, very horrible lesson in life. And that lesson is, don't trust anybody but yourself. They'll take your money, but when you need it, it may not be there for you. Take a look at the banking system too. I mean, we are trusting criminal entities with our money in Wall Street, the banking system, the pension system. These are multiple Ponzi schemes going on at the same time. And if one goes, they're all going to go. And we are hanging on by a thread. People don't realize that this system, banking, financial, pensions, the market, everything is holding on by a thread. And it's all been juiced artificially. And they are running out of magic tricks, ladies and gentlemen. They are running out of tricks. And I truly do believe we're going to see some really big events take place. And you're going to be on your own. You're going to wake up one day, and all you're going to have is what you can get to, what you can access. It won't be your pension. It won't be stocks. It won't be digits on a screen. It's about what you're going to be able to hold in your hands. Your physical gold, your physical silver, your physical cash, your physical skill set, your physical food, your physical water. Surround yourself with good people today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave you with that. The best advice, and I'm going to give you some advice today. It's how I'm living my life. You can disagree, you can ignore it, you can tell me I'm wrong, or you can comment down below and chime in and tell us what you're doing, what you think is good advice. And I would appreciate that, and the viewers would definitely appreciate that, because those comments down below are incredible, loaded with knowledge, and I want to thank all of you for commenting down below. But my advice right now is surround yourself with the best people possible. Get fake people out of your life. Get the wannabes out of your life. Surround yourself with people who are walking the walk, people who have skill sets, people who know how to do things, people that aren't going to run when things get heated. When the pressure's on, these are the people that have your back. They're not going to run away. People that know how to do something, and people who are doing what you're doing right now, putting the gold, the silver, the cash, the food, the water, and the training away. These are the people you need to be surrounding yourself with. Find these people. Find people who bring something to the table. I'll tell you, people, always want something. They want to know what you can do for them. I've eliminated those people out of my life. I don't surround myself with those people. I don't surround myself with people who are oblivious to what's going on. I don't sit with zombies. Sit with people who are awake, aware, who have skills, people who are loyal. And those are going to be the people that have your back. And let me tell you, it's going to be hard to find people like that. but those are the people you need to be hanging out with now. People, I have friends that I talk to who have friends in their lives who are just, they just drain them, bring absolutely nothing to their lives, nothing to the table. And I question them, why in the world do you even hang out with these people? And it makes me question those people. Why would you even have people like that in your life right now? We have big choices to make, ladies and gentlemen, and we may have to cut some people that we even like, that we like. We may have to cut people out of our lives because they're bringing nothing to the table, and they don't want to make sacrifices. They don't want to learn the skill sets. They don't want to wake up to reality. They might be nice, they might be good people, but they bring nothing to the table. And I don't have the time or energy to actually be friends with these kind of people any longer. The people I'm friends with are the people who know what's going on and the people who are ready, because I don't want people knocking at my door other than the people I know who are prepared. And if you come knocking at my door and you're one of those unprepared people that I know, you're not getting in. But by then I'll be sitting on a 30-acre farm somewhere in the deep south with really big dogs, and you probably don't want to come on that property anyways. But I'm going to leave it there today. I could go on, I don't want to rant, but really do a check on the type of people you have in your life right now and the type of people you are hanging out with right now. You know, I just look at everything like, where can I make my life better, stronger, be the hardest person in the room to kill? What can I do to add value, to put more odds in my favor? Take a look at the people you surround yourself with. You may have to get rid of some of them.